What's happening, Franz? Welcome in, man. How are you?
Good morning, people. Good morning. Let's talk about arraignments.
Arraignments.
Was that the most exciting arraignment you've ever seen?
It was because it's the only arraignment I've ever seen outside of television.
I think I posted on Twitter, y'all about to see why arraignments are the most unexciting events in the entire criminal justice system.
That is exactly what you posted on Twitter. And there was this belief that there was going to be something that was camera worthy.
Well,
from yesterday.
Is it historic in so much as we have a past president being prosecuted, air quotes, prosecuted for felonies in a real court? Yeah, that's historic. But what did you expect him to do yesterday? He went in. He wasn't handcuffed. He wasn't handcuffed.
Yes.
He pled not guilty, right?
He pled not guilty to 34 felony counts.
Yeah.
Are these felony counts?
Well, okay. I noticed when we were coming into the segment, you called them misdemeanors, which leads me to believe,
which would otherwise be misdemeanors.
You lead me to believe that you feel that this might be an over prosecution, an overreach, if you will.
So, is that possible?
Well, how many hush money prosecutions have you seen?
Yeah, well, on a presidential level or just in general?
You know that this happens. You got to pay off. You got to pay off the porn star. That's how it works, right?
Standard operating procedure.
I mean, yeah,
it's right there in the handbook.
Now, if we're prosecuting because he was sloppy about the manner in which he paid off the porn star,
glad that's where the rest of that sentence went.
Yeah, I know, right? But yeah, I think this is. I said this last week. I'll say it again. This is an attempt at a death by 1,000 cuts, and it's not even like we want the trial to be in January. It's not even subtle, right? We want this trial to disrupt any election bid he's running. And by the way, folks, I didn't know this until last week. Apparently, you can run for president as a convicted felon. No big deal. And you can get elected as a convicted felon. No big deal.
Yeah.
Can't vote for yourself.
At this point, I think it would be a badge of honor for him.
Can't vote for yourself as a convicted felon, but you can run and get elected. And you know what? I wouldn't put it past the American people to elect a convicted felon.
When the narrative has been shaped the way it's been shaped over the course of time that it's been shaped, and this 34 felony charges, that sounds like a whole lot.
So first of all, when you do 34 charges or counts like this, which you can do as a prosecutor, you're sending a message, right? Because one count would do.
Mm-hmm.
You could say we're charging him with one count, and this is the amount of money he allegedly did it, or this is the enterprise.
Mm-hmm.
There's no reason to do 30 something counts other than he's Donald Trump. And I'm not a Donald Trump sympathist. I'm not necessarily like in love with Donald Trump. I'm just saying this looks pretty ridiculous.
It does. And you know what? You count me in that same category there. At no point, I mean, the beautiful thing about radio is it's all recorded, right?
Right.
I can't tell you the last time I've been an avid Donald Trump supporter, but this is so, if you'll pardon the pun, trumped up. So 34 felony charges, all about falsifying business records in the first degree. Are there degrees to falsifying business records?
Apparently so. When it's a porn star hooker scenario, it has to be first degree. Or when you're president and you're defrauding the national people. Did this really change the election, by the way?
Which one? Either one. No, neither. No.
Meanwhile,
don't force me back on the other side on this one.
Meanwhile,
then why do it?
If you're living in that little city, what's that city again that this is happening in?
This would be happening in New York.
Is this the island of Manhattan?
It is.
Right. If you're living there, are you like, we got real problems? Like, okay, we got real problems here.
Hang on, I want to walk down that path, but we gotta go to break because that's something I'm hearing constantly is they're letting murderers out of jail to persecute Donald Trump. We'll visit that after we check news at 6:30.
Hey, Renee. Hey, Christy. I don't know if Christy's actually listening or not.
Christy is listening.
I get,
Did you notice, by the way, I waited a second more than I normally wait?
Yes. Thank you. I get that Trump is Trump, but you can't really argue the fact that this is like, well, I guess you could, but I think this is like persecution as well. To set the trial in January 2024.
It's
Like,
will
or
get
is
the
there
most.
another reason why he would do it all the way
I
until January
so
2024?
not to make this about me. I love all of this because no matter what happens, I get to use this as fodder in jury selection. Can you think of an instance where someone was treated differently than the rest of society? Can you think of an instance where somebody was prosecuted and they may really have not done anything?
Hang on.
Yeah, I mean, if he
I
gets
like where that's going.
yeah, if he gets convicted,
You pin?
My pencils keep disappearing.
This is all I got.
big girl
Look
uses
by the
a
coffee
pen.
cup.
Big girl uses a pen. Brian uses pencils.
Some of us are okay admitting we make mistakes from time to time.
Well, I live in the sea of mistakes. Point being, as a criminal defense attorney, I love all of this because people are talking about justice and injustice now. People who previously didn't know what an arraignment is now know what an arraignment is and can be disappointed at it. It's beautiful.
So boring.
I've been getting asked, what do you think the price of his legal team is? And I'm like, it ain't cheap. And can you use campaign money for it? I don't think you can.
No, I don't believe you can.
Just saying. Maybe the prosecution of Donald Trump in this manner is like a giant civics lesson for the country, for our citizens, potential jurors.
Mm-hmm.
When is the parade, by the way? So I can stay away from campus.
You're not going to the parade?
I teach a class until 5 o'clock, and then I have a beautiful 7-year-old I have to pick up before 5:30, or I'm taxed by his aftercare. And then I don't know.
You're going to be in trouble.
You
might want to let class out early today.
What time do you think I need to let class out?
It is the parade runs at 6, right?
6:30.
But I'm going to be at the law
you'll
school. But I'm at the law school.
Yeah. It goes right past there.
The flagship law school in the state of Louisiana.
How many other law
Tulane?
schools are there?
There's Tulane, Loyola, Southern, and there's 4.
Yes. There are.
It's a flagship.
Ain't no law school at UL Monroe?
Not these days.
Southern Law
But you think
School.
about the crime
home
in
of, what's her name? Omarosa.
Yeah, you think about the crime that you think about the crime that Manhattan deals with.
Yeah.
You have the full spectrum, right? You have high-end financial stuff, you have white-collar stuff, you have murder.
You got people doing crazy shit in the subways.
Byron writes, the irony to me is the part of the charges are related to attempt to interfere with an election. So the whole timing of this case is not as well? Question mark.
Actually, you got nothing to worry about. This thing doesn't even go up Highland Road.
I will be going down Dalrymple.
Yeah, it starts on the other side of Highland. Oh, spots. I heard guitar, so I'll put on my headphones. Let's put on my headphones. Is Alondra playing the Bluebell song as a bumper? The Bluebell song. Neither do I. We're a bit late on that. I think we're waiting on Taylor to get back. I want to take Saturday, if possible. Okay.
I picture Alondra training day, Denzel Washington.
Yeah.
Boy, Franz, I didn't know you like to get your lips wet. PCP.
I never saw
Angel.
Training Day.
You would love Brian Haldane would love. Training day. You would love Training Day.
And I tell him, Inglorious Bastards, you would love Inglorious Bastards.
Yeah.
Like, you would love that movie.
I know I would love that movie.
I can see you and James on a couch watching Training Day together.
No, I
Okay,
can't.
not at all. Not at all.
I see you, not James.
Fisher, probably Fisher. What's PCP? What's angel dust? I want angel dust.
All right, we got rain in the forecast, but when, where, and for how long? Here's WBRZ's meteorologist, Marissa Nuzzo. Can I make fun of the parade? Because it's a block and a half.
Would it be longer if it was the men's national championship? Do you think it's only a block and a half because it's the women's basketball champions?
I mean, first of all, you're not allowed to park anywhere. Because there's lots for reserve parking, and then there's lots that are just closed.
I think Stormy played this wrong.
637 Talk 107.3 FM, WBRP, 75 degrees in downtown Baton Rouge. Champions Parade tonight, 6:30 p.m. It starts on Dalrymple, on the other side of Highland. It's not on the parade ground side of, and it's on the parade ground side of Highland, but further up Dalrymple from there. It basically goes around the corner, past the mounds, down the hill, and that's it. Going to be a very brief parade route, but a national championship parade
For women.
Yes, the women brought home.
I suppose
they brought home the
they
Hawkins,
should
man.
be. I suppose. Well, I love women's basketball, but I suppose they should be grateful that LSU's not making them do, down Highland towards downtown.
Wow,
A block and a half, really? A block and a half?
it's
You win a national championship, you get a block and a half. Come on, dude.
To be fair, it might be 3 blocks.
Okay.
I mean, it's not going to be a tough walk. Let's just say that.
So slightly changing the subject back to law.
Let's get back to the point
So
of
you and I have a kid.
segment.
You and I have a kid the same age.
Yes.
7, 8-ish.
We each have a kid the same age.
Right.
We don't share a kid
Right.
the same age.
God, we'd be great co-dads. So point is, this case.
Can I be the Paul Reiser in that
Yes.
80s sitcom?
Yes.
Okay.
So this case is going to be a civics lesson for future generations of American youth about the justice system, and I think that that's outstanding.
Wait, why is it going to be a civics
think
lesson?
think about this. You either feel like it's a witch hunt, like a weak prosecution of someone who may, I don't want to use the word innocent, may not be as guilty of this as they're trying to make him be. Like, did he try to buy her off? Yeah, so it's either, is this really a crime? I mean, you should be allowed to buy off the hooker porn star, right?
So I don't know that she's a hooker. I guess once you accept cash, you become that.
No judgment.
But
Judging her. I would take money. I'm just saying. My point is, but everybody has a price, Brian Haldane. Alondra, everybody has a price. For the right price, you can even act like you enjoy President Trump. My point is, looking at this case from the outside, you scratch your head, right? You're like, wait, what?
very, very much so.
Like, is this justice? Like, if you want to prosecute him for one of the other crimes you think he did that are actually, like, serious?
Well, the district attorney, Bragg, alleges that Donald Trump falsified the true nature of the payments because those payments were made in support of a crime. So that's the part that I'm curious to find out about. Payments were made in support of a crime, which we don't know what that other one would be, right?
It's trying to influence the election, right?
Per the BBC. Well, okay. So this is a good point. There is your civics lesson. There is what's real. There is what's factual. Right. And there is what's perception.
Right.
And perception's going to rule the day all the way until this thing is over with.
Right.
Is it trying to ruin the election? Well, there wouldn't be an opportunity to ruin the election if hush money weren't paid to a porn star to keep quiet about a 16-year-old affair or however long old the affair is.
So I'm going to make a comparison and see how you feel about it.
Okay.
I feel the same way about this case as I do about Alec Baldwin and the Russ case. Like, what are you guys doing? Like I feel like not the same crime. It's a different crime, to be sure. But I feel like it's this the best way you can utilize prosecutorial effort.
Okay, that's going to walk us up to the conversation about comparativeness or
Right.
the moral relativism,
Okay.
living through comparison. If you're not going to prosecute every crime, you shouldn't prosecute any crime, is the basic take that I'm hearing on social media.
Well, to
Is,
be clear,
how
I'm
many
not,
crimes do they not punish because they want to punish Donald Trump?
to be
It's not
clear,
that.
I'm not saying that. I'm just saying, look at the American Idol kid. Absolutely pretrial diversion eligible. And yet we're bothered by the fact that he may get pretrial diversion because of who he is, because any other guy in a similar situation would get pretrial diversion.
Mm-hmm.
And we're going to treat him differently because
we're talking about Lane Hardy.
Right.
Is the other
I'm
part
bringing
of
it
the
all
story.
together.
No, I know, but we got to.
Okay, but Trump.
You have to give the information to the audience.
Trump.
Got it.
Are we treating former President Trump differently because he's former President Trump and we inherently dislike him as a human being?
Okay. It is my take that question is a waste of time.
Okay.
Because it's answered not based off of fact. It's answered based 100% off of your opinion of the former president.
Well, I would submit to you differently that the fact that you don't see these prosecutions done in this manner, well, not just because they're boring, it's because prosecutors don't waste their time with this kind of chicken poop. See what I did there? Chicken poop kind of stuff.
Isn't that that's the rub though? Is we can't know because they're boring, because they're never covered.
Right.
Do you
like the arraignment? Yeah.
But the charges themselves. How often do you have six-figure payoffs to porn stars as hush money that you would want to prosecute? Like, how often does that happen? Looked at through the lens of what it is the only lens we should be looking at.
So to be sure, or to be clear, I'm not the guy that says, oh, so you're not prosecuting the person that pushes the person into the train at the subway station?
Mm-hmm.
No, you prosecute that person. That shouldn't affect this. But the financial bandwidth that it takes to prosecute a President Trump, I suspect has to be in the millions. The amount of resources this office is using to prosecute this, millions. And if I'm a taxpayer living in the island of Manhattan, I might have a problem with that.
So that is looking at that through the lens of just this, though.
That community.
Yes,
if I were in that community.
No, absolutely. You're right. That is saying, okay, point me to the victim, first of all. Somebody pushes somebody off in front of a subway, you have a victim. Okay? Lane Hardy wiretaps an apartment, you have a victim.
Permission to make this
Former
local.
president pays off a porn star, who's the victim?
Let me make this local for our listeners and you and Alondra. If I were to look at you and say, man, sure does seem like our city council in the city of Baton Rouge cares more about drag racing than murder. How misplaced would I be by saying something like that?
Well, you wouldn't be accurate for one thing, but okay.
It's hyperbolic.
Mm-hmm.
I know that the men and women working for the Baton Rouge Police Department care about solving crimes, right?
And they have a better than average clearance rate for
but
solving
from the
those crimes.
outside looking in, when you spend a whole bunch of resources on drag races, which could lead to murder, a drag race could lead to murder.
The drugs and guns connected to those, absolutely.
Wait, there's drugs and guns connected to drag racing?
Yes.
Maybe that's how we revitalize Florida Boulevard. Make it a giant racetrack.
Okay.
It's like the Audubon of Baton Rouge.
Move it over to Choctaw and we're fine. Then you're not about anybody's house.
That's how we rebuild the Baton Rouge Zoo.
Okay.
So my point is optic-wise, you would say, no, Franz, we don't care more about drag racing than we do about solving murders.
Right.
We don't care more about these campaign crimes, these frauds, than we do solving murders in Manhattan. To be clear, we can intellectually all say that. It just optically looks weird.
Right, because then you're left with the why. Why go in so hard on this guy? And that's where everyone's confirmation bias kicks in. That's where everyone's preconceived notions of how did Mr. Bragg get elected in the first place? Who funded his campaign? Blah, blah, things like that. Once you get into that realm, you've left course with reality. You're 100% your own opinion and not factual. We got a break. When we come back, you mentioned something in the last break that I want to pick up on on the air. And that is how this case can be used as a precedent in the future. He's attorney Franz Borghardt. We do Legally Served every Wednesday. It's 646.
I didn't say anything. I'm working really hard. I need to talk to you about collisions. Is our boy still doing collision work, or is he retired?
He's retired. The best work possible. Oh, I might have another one for you.
Okay.
I
try to keep it in the Axe community.
This would be closer to the Axe community than it would the advertising community. Are they Father Tat's relatives? You know Father Tat? Oh, you know Father Tat. He's up at they call it. Is it St. Jared where Redemptress was? They call it St.
Whatever it's called now.
Yeah, it looks like St. Gerard on the sign, and they call it St. Jared or Gerald or something. It's mispronounced every day, like regularly. Like they've adopted the wrong name. Oh wow!
Football is life. So, in addition to fixing the bump in the back of my car, I would like to get a giant flame down the side of it. Maybe instead of a painted flame, maybe a magnetic attachment. In case I change my mind down the road. Yeah, case it's just like a thing, and I'm like, it's kind of like a fake tattoo. Maybe I should get a fake tattoo before getting a tattoo. My son wants a tattoo more than anything else when he turns 18, he's going to get he takes markers, and he's like, look at my tattoos, and he lifts his shirt up, and it's like his your mouth.
What?
What?
That didn't even make sense. You find coffee cups in your mouth?
I've never said that, but yes, I've heard the phrase.
Yeah. Wait, so I watch Impractical Jokers, so it's up your ass to the left. Basement. You'll find them in the basement.
Could I get an office in the morgue?
I mean, we have space available.
I mean,
Available for rent.
Is it like lower if it's in the morgue? I mean, it's haunted, right?
Well, that actually adds to it. We have very inappropriate ghosts.
So, would Guarantee Broadcasting be okay with me bringing a priest in to exercise like my space? All right, let's are good spirits. Sometimes good spirits haunt.
You don't. I mean, it's just like the Trump charges. You don't want it resolved. You want the issue.
I want a Better Call Saul scenario where it's like, where's Franz's office? It's in the basement morgue.
You know what? I would go so far as to every day make cucumber water and not let you have it.
Do you have it? Does the morgue have like the pull-out drawers where the bodies used to be?
No,
because I was going to say that could be great.
It's got a bunch
cabinet.
of shelves that have files on them.
That could be great. Like that would be a great place for
I don't think
files.
did they have drawers back. Like I think they just kind of stacked them.
Ooh, like and not like a fridge or anything. They didn't even keep
No,
the
it was
bodies cold?
refrigerated.
Oh, okay, I'm like, dang.
That's why it's right next to the kitchen.
All right. Byron said, I think there's an important lesson for all of we men from this. Never tell a woman to shut up. Well,
Eric suggests never pay a porn star. I would submit to you, always pay the porn star.
well.
I'm just glad.
Sometimes you need to be told to shut up. As someone who like sometimes needs to be told to shut up, like
I can't imagine anybody ever telling you to shut up.
I got told.
You're a gift. You're a gift, Alondra. A gift. Or is it GIF?
Is it gift or GIF?
Gift. GIF.
Okay, but honestly, do y'all say GIF or do you say GIF? I say GIF. Yeah. What do you say, Franz? Facebook, do you say GIF?
GIF.
You must say GIF. Yeah, I was going to say, he's not answering. He must say GIF.
The guy who came up with the term says it's GIF.
That's what I say. He thinks.
And the first time I read that, I posted the GIF of the woman going. Which is why he. 652 Talk 107.3 FM, WBRP, 75 degrees in downtown Baton Rouge. Morning, this is Brian Haldane rolling right along. ABC News coming your way about 7.5 minutes from right now. So let's continue with Legally Served. The amount of time it should take, we're going to get to the precedent in a minute. But the amount of time it should take to prosecute a case like this would be what, Franz?
A case like this, I would say a year and a half here.
Okay.
I wouldn't be like, if you told me a year and a half, I'd be like, that tracks.
Mm-hmm.
But because of the nature and the high profile nature of it, it could be longer because you're going to litigate stuff that you wouldn't normally have to litigate, when you're not prosecuting a former president, like venue.
Okay.
Like, can he get a fair trial anywhere? What does a fair trial look like for President Trump? How do you give security to him in the courtroom?
Let's talk with that. So that's a whole other thing.
Right.
Is a former president has a Secret Service detail.
So that's the problem is normal, what would be normal year and a half, that goes out the window, right? There's no way they're trying
in which direction though?
Well, there's no way he gets tried before January. I just don't see that unless he wants to be tried before January. Because I just don't see either side being able to be in a posture to go to trial that quickly.
It's April.
I just don't see that happening realistically.
Okay.
Based on the way the justice system, this is not the only case in Manhattan. Manhattan has a lot of cases. It's like the Baton Rouge of New York.
I understand. But so, yes, because it takes time to get your turn in line is a big part of this.
Who takes precedent? President Trump or the Joker that's been in jail waiting for his trial for a year?
The Joker's been in jail this whole time?
Maybe 2 years. Like, who gets precedent? President Trump or a murder case or a rape case or an armed robbery?
Does, and that's going to get lost in the narrative as well when everybody says they're going to prosecute the president but not the murderer.
No. That's the part of the narrative of when do we put him to trial?
Right.
So it's not as easy as, well, man, wait. Why does it take so long to prosecute somebody? Well, it takes so long to prosecute somebody because they're not the only person getting prosecuted in a jurisdiction.
Yes. As far as venue's concerned, it's not going to matter where this is. Just keep it in Manhattan.
But it doesn't mean they're not going to fight about it. It doesn't mean that one side's going to lose and not take an appeal or do something. It's not like there's not going to be some kind of novel constitutional issue that comes out of this that's challenged and vetted. Are you saying that in America I can't pay a stripper / hooker porn star?
You can just say porn star.
But I don't want to undervalue what she is. This is America, right? We're making it great again. I can't pay the porn star? That seems unconstitutional. There'll be some constitutional challenge at some point.
On venue?
On the case.
Oh. All right, precedent.
This is America.
As far as precedent is concerned, this is going to be actually the valuable piece of this whole conversation. You were saying, not this last break, but the one before.
I love this. I love all of this.
Go for it.
Okay, why does Franz, as a criminal defense attorney, love this? Because I pick juries for a living.
Mhm.
And the way our citizens shape their views about the justice system and issues attached to the justice system, true crime, what they see in the media, what they see on TV, and they develop strong feelings about things like the prosecution of a former president. And when they have strong feelings, Brian, and there's things to talk about, they vocalize those strong feelings, and then I get to pick better juries as a result of it. I don't think it's going to make my job harder. I think it's going to make my job easier.
Really?
Because I'm going to be able to vet more information. The person that tells me, I think it's BS that he's being prosecuted. And I'll say, well, Mr. Haldane, tell me why it is you think that it's BS. Why do you think it is that it's BS? Assuming that he brings it up. Now, if I try to bring this up, some prosecution, Judge, this is Baton Rouge. This is not New York. I'll say, can you think of an instance where someone's being prosecuted for something and you think it's unfair in the media or in your life?
Right.
And someone's going to say President Trump.
Right. Which can just open up all kinds. That's a Pandora's box that you're
somebody
never
will
going to close.
say, how is it that President Trump is being prosecuted and Hillary Clinton doesn't get prosecuted? That's going to be a question. That's going to be a statement by somebody. So I love all this. It is an absolute waste of taxpayer money. But I love it because I can use it. I don't want to use the word manipulate it. I can use it to vet how people feel about our system, because on this issue, they're going to tell you how they really feel. Agree or disagree? They're going to tell you how they really feel on this issue.
No, I completely agree with you on that.
But there won't be any misunderstanding.
I don't see this making it easier for you down the road because everyone's in this boat. But, I mean, if it means you have to move on to the next one.
I have clients that are wrongfully prosecuted all the time.
I understand.
I mean, we were going to talk about one of them today that was ultimately acquitted and then not acquitted.
You know, you said,
I can
yes,
stick around for the break.
maybe I'll let you know.
I'll stick around for the break. Or we can do it next week.
Let's do it next week.
Okay.
That's
your show.
To me, it's a big enough story.
Yeah.
All right. We've got 2 minutes to go here.
That's a teaser.
We've got to talk a little bit about Lane Hardy. Pretrial diversion, which you're in favor of, because anytime someone cannot be punished for a crime, like that.
First offenders, first felon, first misdemeanor offenders, like President Trump, first offenders who are being prosecuted in our jurisdiction are generally allowed, with the exception of gun crimes, crimes of violence, and certain other crimes, are allowed to do a diversion program, which is a DA's office program. They pay some money. They do some classes. They do some hoops. They jump through some hoops. And at the end of it, all charges are not prosecuted. It happens every single day in our justice system, in this city, in this state, around the country.
So,
diversion programs are a good thing. For first offenders or low-level offenders, it's a good thing.
Yeah, because they set a precedent for that first-time offender, that the punishment's not there.
It's really, you don't get prosecuted until the third time.
Right.
That's what you're getting at, right?
Right. And we wonder why our...
What did you do with this kid anyway? Like he loved too hard.
So,
who hasn't made mistakes when they were loving? Who hasn't set up a recording device in an ex-girlfriend's place?
Yeah, literally everybody's hand just went up.
Yeah.
The only thing that I take away from this, and I credit the district attorney here, he says, we just felt that under the circumstances and after consultation with the victim, that this was the best alternative.
The victim says,
I can't.
I'm okay with this.
Right.
We need to say, no, I don't care that you're the victim.
Totally. That's totally where...
Now,
right there.
Now, the other side is sometimes victims get bought off. Stormy Daniels. Sometimes victims get scared.
He's attorney Franz Borg. What do you think he's over here Al Capone? You think Lane Hardy's going to Al Capone?
He's an intimidating kind of guy.
Yeah, because if you're dropping a wiretap in your girlfriend's apartment, that's really the kind of bravado you have on the back end. He's Franz Borghardt. We do legally serve every Wednesday. Appreciate you, brother.